Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah
Hey.
and Tiara.
Hey.
All right, guys, we are back. This is episode 288 for Blink Twice. Logline here is when tech billionaire Slater King meets cocktail waitress Frida at a fundraising gala. He invites her to join him and his friends on a dream vacation on his private island. As strange things start to happen, Frida questions her reality. This is the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz. She also co-wrote this movie, starring Naomi Ackie, Channing Tatum, and Ali Shawkat. Okay, Micah and I have definitely seen this movie before. We were very excited to do this movie. And Tiara, this is your first time seeing the movie. You just watched it like a couple of hours ago?
I just finished watching like maybe 90 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. All right, so good. It's fresh in your head. So I'm gonna then go to Micah, then we're gonna go to you last. Unfortunately, Terrence is not here, so I know he did enjoy this movie. I will just say that. Okay, so for me, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts now. I like this movie. I think it is Zoe Kravitz doing her best Jordan Peele impression. That's a feeling I get. It feels like it's pulling a lot of his style. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, it feels like she's trying to make sort of like Get Out for women, which again I don't actually think it's a bad thing. I think it's a pretty good try as a first-time director. I mean, she's an actress, so she's got a little bit more background into how movies are made, better than most. But yeah, all in all, I liked it. I thought Channing Tatum is actually pretty good in this. I thought Naomi Ackie was pretty good in this as well. Yeah, I don't really have any negatives to say about any of the portrayals of any of the acting. I enjoyed people getting murdered, so that was pretty cathartic to me. And early on, we're going to spoil what the ending is. So if you haven't seen Blink Twice, so that we can have a full conversation about it, we'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I actually like this movie a lot. Micah, your thoughts?
Yeah, I concur. I really enjoyed this movie. Any movie that opens with a trigger warning piques my attention. So, I think Naomi Ackie is real. I think all the women are really good, but Naomi Ackie, I think, is a bit of a standout. This isn't a traditional Black movie that we normally cover. So it's kind of a cheat, but like the main actress is Black and the writer and director are Black. So, and this shit happens to Black women. Like, we don't hear those stories. Right. So, plus it's a really good movie. So we just wanted an excuse to talk about it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. The end is, little, you got hand wave one particular thing in the end. Like, how'd it work so fast?
Yeah.
But other than that, I had a good time with this movie. I remember seeing it with my wife. She enjoyed it. She is kind of surface level when it comes to movies. But she could appreciate the very overt themes in this movie. And yeah, it was a fun little thriller. And good job, Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah. All right, here comes hater ass Tiara. What'd you not like about it?
Yeah, I thought it was really great. I don't know if I would say it was enjoyable. Given the themes of the movie, trigger warning. And I told you guys, I remember when y'all talked about Under Apocalypse, so I knew what one of the major themes was. I just couldn't remember exactly how it unfolded, and so I'm glad that I didn't remember. I don't even know where to start. There were a few things that I was kind of able to figure out on my own because it was right there in the beginning. With like the best successes, revenge, and everything like that. Thought it was a timely movie with a bunch of billionaires having a private island and doing some really unsavory criminal things that I think some of the right justice was dished out. And we could see some of this in real life, but maybe not. Probably too late for that. I thought the ending was interesting, was an interesting choice, because I think the traditional way of it ending would have been a certain character meeting his own end, but he kind of doesn't. In fact, I would say he got a pretty interesting gift of forgetfulness, and I'm still not sure how I feel about it. Maybe I'll have stronger feelings about it as we talk about the movie. I'm really glad that they had a Black woman as the center of this. Probably because it just hits a little differently. It makes you pay attention, especially with there being a white male lead. I think it kind of makes it seem like this does happen to women who are not white, and it doesn't really center whiteness. But then again, it doesn't really talk a lot about Blackness either. It's just by the nature of having a Black woman, you can still relate, which I find for some movies, if there's a Black person, some people feel like they can't relate to someone's struggles. I thought some of the themes of feeling visible and wanted are really strong here, and I can empathize with that, but also the importance of having really strong female friendships too, and also stranger danger. Hello, don't talk to men, guys. If you're a woman listening to this, don't go home with men.
We'll see you guys for the preview episode next week.
I'm just kidding. But also, I'm kind of glad we're doing this in October, because it was also really scary. Like, it's really scary to realize that you are being taken advantage of in the most horrific of ways. And any other time, like, people are literally just joking around you and pretending that that they're taking care of you, and when they're not, they're actually monsters. There were some things that made me go like, I wonder why we're not seeing this. I guess I'll just say it. There were some parts where I was like, oh, no one is having sex. Like, because usually in these types of movies, like, there's a lot of raunchiness. And then I was like, then you actually get to later movie. I'm like, oh, that's why. And then something else that really stuck out to me was the color white. Using white, which is supposed to represent purity and virginity, and that being twisted into something disgusting. And poor Jess, she looks like a friend of mine, honestly. But yeah, I thought it was, like I said, I don't know if I will say enjoyable, but I definitely thought it was well done. I was reading on Reddit to see what some people thought, and I saw that some people thought that the ending was offensive. I can definitely see why. I don't know if I feel that way.
Why do they think it's offensive? I'm curious.
Because of her relationship with Channing Tatum at the end. Which
do they think, like, and they have a normal marriage together? Is that what they think?
I don't think people like the fact that she's marrying him at all. That I think they think that he should have met the same end as everyone else. And like I said, I understand it, because the people who are saying this are people who were also victims of abuse. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I get it. And also I felt like Channing Tatum was terrifying. I feel like all the men here were terrifying. And also can't trust all women to have your back, guys. That's another thing, because there's always going to be at least one who is down with it all.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I thought that character just embodied internalized misogyny. Like that's what that character was to me. All right. So let's spoil it, right? Again, please go watch Blink twice, because this is a movie that is much better going in if you don't know, like, what's happening. It's much better. But for the sake of reviewing it, it's better for us to throw out what the big reveal is. That way we can openly talk about all this stuff, right? like we did with Get Out, same thing. So the reveal here is that they go to this island and that the women are all being drugged through, perfume and what have you. They're all being secretly drugged, and the guys are sexually assaulting them or raping them, all sorts of horrible shit to them every night. But the drug makes them forget that all of this happened. And so the only reminder that those things are happening would be like physical bruises and things like that, which the women would not realize where they came from when they woke up the next day. So,
or dirt under the fingernails.
Right. Yeah. Like actual physical responses. Exactly. So that's the big reveal, right? And that happens like pretty late into the movie, by the way. Like they run this, and I appreciated this. They run the scam for a long time to the point where you're like, are they gonna reveal? And then it's like, and there it is, right? It's just long enough to be like, what are we doing right now? And then it's revealed and you're like, oh shit. And then the movie like jumps into this like, hyperbaric chamber, so to speak, as far as like violence and, the response from the characters. Like it just really gets moving in that like latter third of the film. So that's the big reveal. Okay, so just starting out, we see Frida is really obsessed. She's at home sitting on the toilet, which I need people to stop making movies and TV shows where people are just sitting on the toilets. We get it. People are human. Like it's all right. I don't need to see it. It drives me crazy. She's like looking at reports and video of Slater King, who is this like big time billionaire played by Channing Tatum. She is obsessed with him, and he's like doing some apology interview where he's like, stop and smell the flowers. I've gone to therapy. I apologize for what I've done, and I feel really bad about it. I'm really sorry. We don't know what he did, but you get a sense of maybe it's like some kind of Me Too type of shit. Like that's kind of my guess. But it's enough that he's gone away for a while and is trying to like come back into the limelight. And she's really obsessed with him. Like she thinks he's attractive, yada yada. She's a waitress, and her and her friend Jess are like cocktail waitresses for some company, right? And they end up working at an event that Slater King is at. And I believe a year before they were at a similar event, and Slater King talked to Frida and was like, hey, how's it going? And so ever since she's been like, oh my God, he's so amazing. Blah, blah, blah. He was in Magic. Mm-hmm. So playing off of that. And so they, they're working or whatever, and they're too busy paying attention. Frida's too busy paying attention to Slater King. And she's like super obsessed with him. And then her and Jess, they had brought like nice clothes. And so they go in the back, they change into these nice dresses or whatever. And then they start acting like they're supposed to be at the event. And eventually they end up running into Slater King as Frida falls and makes a huge racket. And she ends up cutting her hand on like a champagne glass or what have you. And when the event ends, he's like, hey, you guys want to like kind of come hang out with me and my friends? We're going to my private island. And they're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Which for me as a man, that's crazy. But I feel like a lot of people would do this, like men or women. I don't even mean to make it about women. I think a lot of people would just be like, oh shit, Jay-Z invited me to an island. Maybe I'll have dinner with him and he'll give me some advice or whatever. I think people would just go.
Just real quick before, when she was talking to her manager and her manager was like, oh, we don't need like a repeat of last time. She said something, he said something to her, and then we go like, that's an interesting thing to say to someone, which is like, he told her like, I need you to be more invisible. I don't know, something about that line like stuck out to me because then she ends up repeating something similar or the opposite of that later on in the conversation with Jess. So I thought that was like one of the threats made me go like, okay, well, how is this going to unfold with this person? Yeah,
and it's a double. It's kind of a double meaning, right? Because like, when you are wait staff at an event like this, you're not supposed to be like making a scene, right? Like you're supposed to be invisible in quotes, but at the same time, like, that's what people tell women. You know what I mean? Like, don't be, just like men are talking. Like, go over there.
Yeah, better seen, not heard, so to speak. And sometimes not even seen. So yeah, they just agree to go to this island with him because he's he's like a big time dude, right? I get it. He's like a multi-billionaire. But right before that, she meets, they had kind of been hanging out all evening after he like picked her up after she fell, right? So she's like, they're kind of in with Slater King, right? And he introduces her to his doctor, like his psychiatrist. And the doctor's like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." And his name is Dr. Rich Stein, and he's being weird, right? That guy's just being weird. I'm pretty sure it's the dude from Twin Peaks, so that makes sense. And so he's just like, "Oh yeah, it's very nice to meet you. Interesting." And so she makes this joke like, "Oh, if I'm in danger, blink twice." And he's like, "Hello," and so it's kind of a play on the title, obviously. But at the same time, like, it's the line from Tiara's favorite movie, "You in Danger, Girl." So he eventually introduces her to other people, some other women, some of his like colleagues and shit, like Haley Joel Osment and Christian Slater, and then some like young guy who's working for him and all this other stuff. By the way, it's just a really good cast because all the dudes are like, "Fuck's up with these guys." And all the women, you're like, "Oh, hello." Like they really do put these like really beautiful women with these like scummy kind of dudes. And you're just like,
right.
Why is Haley Joel Osment there? Like, I got a 6.
How do I know you're gonna? How do I know that you're gonna?
Fucking Christian Slater's like 75 years old. What the fuck is he doing there? Like he was a celebrity when these people were little. Actually, none of them were born.
Yeah, they weren't alive.
Yeah, no, Slater is like he's got to be well into his 60s at this point. Like
no, he's in his mid 50s, but
is he
still? What?
Yeah, he's only like 55, 56, something like that.
Oh, I thought he was older than that. Like the guy saw The Volume like 100 years ago. It's a great movie, buddy.
He's 56.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Relax. Go watch.
I'm just saying, like, look, age is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Glad you have all your fingers, bro.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll see how attractive you find him after he gets his head fucking smashed in.
I didn't say I found him attractive. I just said, look, really, I'm surprised he was in his mid 50s. So
don't do that to him. He's a good actor.
Anything.
Yeah. Whatever. They put these beautiful women with these bunch of scummy dudes. They all get on a plane and they go to a private island. I don't know, man. Micah, if you go to a party and Beyonce is like, "Hey, me and Rihanna, we're going to a private island," you going?
I'm not going to a party, Jay.
That's fair.
I'm not going to a party,
why would you even be there? Right.
Yeah, exactly. I would even if I was that type, I don't think I would. Yeah. I'm a square. I'm a square, man. Like,
if Beyonce and Rihanna invited me to a private island, I'm going. They're going to kill me. I get that. But I'm going to go and have a good time before I go. I'm there for a short time, a long time. Get out of here. I'm like, "Oh, is Haley Joel Osment going?" I'm not going now. No, thank you. I don't want to be there. I'm just fucking with him. I like that guy. He's all right. So they get to the island, and one of the first things they do is like, "If we could have your phones," and Jess, played by Ali Shawkat, has the right response, which is like, "Really?" And I would have been like, "Is there a return flight?" Because none of that seems like a good idea. If someone wants to take your phone,
no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But guess what? What you going to do? No, there's not a return flight.
Why? Because of the implication? You keep saying that. Why do you say that?
Well, but here's the thing: if you're partnering up with a bunch of rich folks, especially billionaires, and they tell you to give up your phone, is that so unbelievable?
Oh, it's not unbelievable. That's a gigantic red flag to me. The fuck are y'all doing?
Why is it
on camera footage? Like, that's all I can think.
They could just say, well, I like to maintain my privacy because you never know, and I don't want people reporting this to the media, whatever. It can, like, what I'm saying is there's so much that there's enough plausible deniability for someone to be like, someone who is not of that world to be like, yeah, I guess this is just what they do. They don't want this all over Instagram, because someone definitely would be like, look at me, I'm on Slater, whatever. That's his name, Slater?
Yeah, Slater King.
Slater King.
Oh, that's so interesting. Christian Slater. Okay, I don't know why I kept thinking Christian Slater, but sure. Yeah, I mean, because there could be someone that's like, yeah, I'm on Slater's Island, partying it up. Here's my location.
Oh, I get it. I 100% get it, especially because in the beginning of the movie when Frida was swiping through her phone looking at Slater King things, like he got canceled or arrested or whatever for abuses of an abuse of power. It's the only thing that we know, right? And this "let me take your phone" is a power play.
Yep.
And it's the first test to see, okay, well, what can I get away with? And most narcissists and rapists aren't afraid to do shit like that.
Right.
And yeah, like I get it. But to Jay's point, that's a red flag, yo. Like,
Yeah,
like I can't, I cannot abide this. Like, you know what?
Yeah, I'd be like.
Also, I just remember that going back to an early scene where she was like, oh, but he talked to me because he complimented on my nails, and how that ends up being like such a big thing later on in the movie. I love that.
Mm-hmm. So they get to the island. Slater takes Frida to a like her own private bungalow, and they've got like perfume, and they even have clothes for her laid out. And she's like, oh yeah, this is great. And she sees this like I don't know, whatever type of makeup that is. I don't know. I guess it's a lipstick of some sort. And it's got like a hair in it, which is like, it's just like really disgusting.
Red flag.
Yeah, that's disgusting to me. And she was like, next time, bitch. Like, kind of like, oh, some other woman was here, so like, fuck her. Okay, more on that later. And so as she's about to go get dressed, this woman comes in, and she's this old lady, and she's like, Red Rabbit, and she keeps pointing out. She doesn't speak very much English, or none at all. And she's like, Red Rabbit, Red Rabbit. And the lady's like, Frida's like, okay, like, she does what I do when people try to make me, like, okay, sure. And the lady's like, okay, I'll see your ass later. And she just walks away. And so she goes and she puts on this white dress, and it's the same, like she walks out, and Jess has the same outfit on. All the other women, they all have similar outfits on, and everybody is all decked out in white with these like straw hats, and they even look like the kind of dressed like the people who work on the island and everything else. And so all 5 of these women are all in their lovely pristine white dresses that have been to them, and like white bathing suits. Like everything is just really overemphasized, to your point, Tiara, about white and purity and stuff like that. Not as in white as in race, but white as in fabric, right? And then the women do what you do on an island, which is they proceed to get fucking high and drunk. Which, yeah, if I was going to hang out with a bunch of celebrities, I'd be like, is there booze or no? Like, what the fuck are we doing? And so, yeah, they're all doing it up. I don't think it's happenstance that 3 out of the 5 women are women of color. I think that's definitely on purpose, and I appreciate Zoe Kravitz doing that. Right, like this idea of like this doesn't just happen to white women. It doesn't just happen to black women. It doesn't just happen to Latin women or whatever.
It's
everybody.
Frida, Camilla, and is Jess considered? Because just looked like she had a little something.
No, I think no, it's Frida, Sarah, and Camilla.
Oh, Sarah. Yeah. Okay.
Sarah is Latin. And shout out to her. She isn't that the woman from Andor? I believe, yeah. So yeah, it's it's I don't think it's by choice that they went that way. So I think that's smart. So anyway, like they show the women there just like drinking and everything else, and Sarah clearly has like some sort of thing for Slater King, but she's there with Simon Rex's character, Cody, and so it's like, all right, is she into Cody? Is she really into Slater? She does seem to have like kind of a animosity towards Frida for some reason. I was watching this with my wife who had never seen it, and she was like, I don't like her. And by the end, I was like, see.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, no, but you're not supposed to, right? That was the red herring.
I thought that like she was, if anything. Oh no, I'm muted.
No, Micah's muted.
Oh, I at first I thought I was like, did they have like a history together? Why is she acting this way? And the thing is, I was even thinking like, well, why am I responding in this way about this woman and Channing Tatum possibly being real love interest, considering some fucked up shit is going to happen later? So I just thought that was a really interesting response that this movie was able to jump in.
Yeah, like that's the point, right? And the Sarah character even makes that point. Like if you don't get it, right? Like she's like, she says that like, oh, we're trained to be pit against each other.
Yep.
And it worked on you. and it worked
I was like,
Mrs. J.
and I'm just thinking like, oh wait a minute, but like clearly some wayward stuff is going to happen later, but
right.
But in that moment, I'm like, like, can't you just let this black woman like have her shine? Like, damn.
See,
white lady.
Yeah, that quickly they pit Latin and black women right against each other. Like, fuck you.
I thought she was white.
Nah, she's not.
She's white. She's a white Latina. Maybe, I don't know.
You think she's white passing? I guess I can see it. I don't know.
I mean, they all on an island. They look like they got tans, right? I can see it.
I mean, I guess I see it. I see enough of these people. I'm like, I can spot you. I can spot you.
I found out she was not white when she was getting up out of that pool.
Okay.
Like, oh, that ain't a white woman.
It's like, you know what?
Her hair.
I see what's going on here. I see what's going on.
Or maybe how natural her hair looked in the humidity. Of the island.
Yeah, because you got Stace here, and her hair just looks like a bunch of burnt spaghetti. Right.
Saying a woman's hair.
Shout out to Gina Davis. She's always great. She looks great.
Oh yeah, Gina Davis. I was like, I remember when I saw, I was like, the fuck is Gina Davis?
What are you doing here?
Like random as fuck. That was awesome. Yeah, like apparently all the 80s stars were like, I'll be in your movie. I was like, okay. So yeah, so there is that weird thing of pitting those two characters against each other. But again, I think that's on purpose. So Frida like chokes on a raspberry while she's drinking her champagne, which is one of the wildest sentences I've said out loud before. And you know, she gets over it or what have you. And Slater's like, hey, do you want to take a walk? And so like they let you know that no matter what the advances of other people is, Slater has his eyes on Frida. Like that is the woman he wants to be with. It wasn't just bullshit at the party. Like he really does like her. All the while he's vaping. I just want to make that a point for something later. They do a good job of him being like this kind of like aloof kind of billionaire, but also mixing it with Channing Tatum's like actual personality, where you get like a little bit of his like slight goofball, like really likable self in like little moments where you realize like that's how he pulls people in. And then he gets like really stoic, and you're like, is he gonna stab somebody? Like, what is this guy's problem? But he does a good job, I think, in this role. And Naomi Ackie does a really, really good job at being sort of all in for whatever's going on in this almost like naive way. And then when she snapped out of it, she's like all the way out of it. And you're like, okay, like you fucking get it, which is kind of fun. So they're walking and he's talking about his therapy that he's done since his abuse of power was. And he's saying that, oh, I've done therapy and I've learned to, to forget certain things, and forgetting is a gift, which again, somebody keeps saying forgetting is a gift is a wild red flag to me. But you don't know that it's like the biggest glaring red flag, but you don't know it until you know what the plot, like the ultimate plot of this movie is.
The same thing. He asks her where she got the scar from.
I don't remember if he's asked her that, but yeah, which is a really kind of a shitty thing to do.
He's testing his product.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And, one of the things I found interesting after watching it the second time is there is a lot of foreshadowing in like, hey, like when people meet Frida, they say a lot of, instead of saying like nice to meet you, all the greetings are as if you've met that person before. Like if you go back and watch it, they're all like, I don't know how to explain it. I can't remember the exact lines, but it's more of like how are you today type of thing versus, oh, it's nice to meet you, or like what you would say to someone the first time. It's a very familiar way of talking to her, which when you watch it the second time, you're like, oh, okay. Like they are like breadcrumbing the shit out of the beginning of this movie.
There's also in the scene where her and Jess come out in the first time I think in the white dresses or something, and they're like, oh, where are we supposed to go? And like the two, I think, landscape people are walking by. Mm-hmm. I think they're staring at both of them, but they're really staring hard at Frida, as if and like now given the ending, it's like they're looking at her as it'd be like, yeah, we see you.
Yeah,
good to see you again.
Welcome back.
It's like, but yeah, welcome back, girl. That's what it seems like.
Which is wild. So then they meet Gina Davis. Gina Davis's character, what is her name?
Stace.
And she's kind of like Slater's assistant, right? And she's just like, oh, I moved some chair this way, and I'm getting these gifts ready and all this other stuff. And her character to me was just like internalized misogyny. Like that's what that character represents to me. And more on her later, but she is there to please Slater King no matter what. I believe the young people call them pygmies, right?
I mean, but like there were times where I was wondering, like, is she his mom? But like, no, she was like, he kept calling her Stace, but I was like, I don't know, white people call their parents by the first name all the time. But like, if she felt almost too like motherly over him.
Yeah. I mean, I would make the argument that men who are, I mean, you think about like the red pill sort of shit. Those guys just want moms. They want their significant others to just kind of be a mom. I want you to cook, clean, but like you're my mom that I have sex with, which is weird, right? Like it's a very weird sort of thing. It's like, just get a prostitute. It's like, yeah, but she won't do my laundry. Like, okay, I guess you have to hire a maid as well. Like, you know what I mean? So I could totally see the reason for having her almost in a motherly kind of perspective, because that's what those kind of dudes want. They just want subjugation, right? Like, just take care of me, just do everything I want done, and just tell me I'm a good boy type of thing, which is really weird and pathetic in my opinion. Actually, I take that back. It's not my opinion. It's just weird and pathetic. Period. I'm sorry, this is a fact. So then we see them all sit down for dinner in what feels like an eyes wide shut party to me. Everyone is wearing all white. I'm sure the food and the wine was delicious. It all looked very good. And so it's just this whole idea of like these dudes bragging about what they do at the company and how the women don't really matter. They're just kind of like wall dressed, like they're just ornamental for the most part in this scene.
Do you think the wait staff knows what's going on here? Or do they fly out?
I think they know.
Like, I know the grounds crew probably knows, right? Because they have to get the snakes and stuff, but like just the people serving, like,
I think they all know.
What's going on here, guys?
I mean,
are all staff men? That's what we have to check. We got to check, see if all the waitstaff.
I guarantee you they are. I guarantee you they are.
I think they were. I think the only woman staff person we see
is
Gina Davis.
No, is the Red Rabbit lady, and I think that she's probably the only female one we see. Like the housekeepers, I guess, like as a tradition, as if you're in a traditional hotel. But I think they all knew. I mean, because here's the thing, like if they know, what are they going to do about it? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not allowed to get off the island.
Yeah,
right? Like, where are they going? They probably live on the island. Yeah, my guess,
that's not what we get known.
I mean, my guess is maybe the wait staff probably is aware, but maybe they're drugged as well, and so they don't remember shit either.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe they just fly them. You know, look, you fly in, serve shit, and fly the fuck out because we're gonna do some wild, dirty shit. Like,
I hate to even put it this way, but I think like it goes back to that whole invisibility thing. In that way, they are truly supposed to be invisible. I don't think it matters if they know or not. In fact, I think they do because, like I said earlier, or like you said earlier, Jay, they probably live on an island. They know some fucked up shit is happening, and what are they going to do? No one's going to believe them.
Yeah, it was just a weird thing that just popped into my head. It has nothing to do with the movie. I'm just like, this scene in particular gets flashed back, and when this scene at the dinner table gets flashed back, like it's some wild shit. It's some nasty, horrible shit going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what you said does have something to do with the movie about complicity, because there's one of the male characters in this, who I think is debatable how willing he was to participate, and also if he was impacted by it too.
I'm curious as to what you think his role was. You're talking about the guy the young guy who eventually got the black eye. Yeah, I'm curious to hear you elaborate a little more on that, because I had a feeling, and then but I don't know if it's I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, I think his situation is very interesting. We'll talk about it when we get there. So yeah, they're all at dinner. They're all talking about their fucking apps and shit, and I'd be like, just throw a grenade into this entire conversation, for the love of God. And I mean a real one. That would be fine. And what you come to find out is, like, the women don't actually know each other, right? Like, they're all in the same boat that Frida's in, which is all of these dudes were just like, hey, I'm going to this island. Like, I'm top shit, or I know a top shit guy. Do you want to go? Right? Like, that's one of the things you find out. So it disassembles, I think, a thing that, at least when I saw it the first time, that I just assumed was true, is that, like, the two other women, the white chick and the Dominican woman, I just assumed that they were friends and they were already in the inner circle. Nah, ain't no women in the inner circle. Like, there's Stace, I guess, but, like, it's just dudes. Like, there is no, you are not, getting into this circle of friends and the shit that they do. Like, it is the, He-Man Woman Haters Club. Like, there are no women allowed.
Can I add something to that? I would bet that one of the mistakes that Slater does this time around with Frida is inviting her with her friend, because like you just said, none of the women knew each other with the exception of Frida and Jess.
Correct.
And because you have this theme of, like, woman against woman in the service of men and to get validation from men, it's easier to have a bunch of women who don't know one another. In fact, now to think about it, this actually reminds me. Maybe a couple years ago or so, I went to Vegas with a friend for the Pro Bowl, for the NFL Pro Bowl.
And you're so rich. Go ahead. Talk your shit.
I'm not rich, but
would you just do a comedy festival or something? Jesus.
I don't know. Come on. Me, I'm eating tortillas, just tortillas with mayonnaise on them every day, and you're like, oh, I was at the Pro Bowl hanging out with.
Yeah. Why you're 5 feet away from the Gulf of America? Boo hoo.
Don't call it that.
But like it reminds me of so like when me and my friend are there, and my friend, she's like pageant beauty, like beautiful, right? But there are all these like NFL players or whatever, and the way that they, and I'm not calling any of them predators, by the way. I'm just saying like this is what this reminds me of. Like the way that they just see like groups of women and they don't even care who they get, right? But seeing how the women like look at each other, and I remember just seeing like if me and my friend were going behind like to this like private VIP section in like a club or whatever.
You're so rich. Go ahead.
No, like I'm not rich. But like seeing the reaction from some of the other women, like the real competitive stares or seeing the things they would do to try to get their attention. It's quite gross, but also seeing how the men know. They all know. And it feels like they like I could just pick whoever I want because I can. And because some of the women are willing it until probably they realize that these guys are just assholes.
Listen, I saw this video on Instagram. Okay, look, I laughed. I probably shouldn't have laughed, but I laughed. Okay, there's 4 women. Well, there was 5 women. Looking real nice, like they were getting ready to go to a club. Right? Dude walks up and says, "Hey, ladies, wow, 4 of you look really good tonight." And then he just leaves. And then they start looking at each other like, well, who's the ugly one? And I laughed. I'm sorry.
No, but that's just sowing doubt.
Because he knows how he's one of these guys, right?
Yeah.
And he's able to, because society has trained women to compete with one another, and has trained guys to prey on women's insecurities, and that's what all these red pill, bald-headed, weird accented, like dudes who say, buy my course and I'll teach you how to subjugate your wife or whatever. Like it's weird, man.
It is.
I take back what I said. It is predatory because that's exactly how I felt. Like,
no, it is. That's why I say when you're like, I wouldn't call them predators. I'm like, I would. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, like it's just you can just tell that it's like they know. Like I'm rich. I mean, you don't know me because my helmet is on, but I'm somebody. I can, I have a lot of power here. But it's just it's such a gross feeling. But it's really sad but unsurprising to see how many women will fall in line for just a piece of that power, and also how some dudes who are not those men but hang around them will do anything to also try to get like a little piece of it so they can lord it over other women too.
Yeah, it's a very weird state of affairs. Like, I mean, you quite literally find out that the reason why Sarah is there is because, what is that guy's name? Cody or whatever. Yeah, he's like, they met in a coffee shop, and he's like, hey, I'm friends with Slater King. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, she wasn't particularly interested in him. But because he is connected to someone that she is interested in, or has an ability to, like, hang out with a billionaire and maybe, like, hook up with a billionaire and maybe something could happen from there, she is willing to hang out with this guy who she doesn't have any interest, right? So
and
predatory.
It was so insidious about him is that he comes across as like this annoying little simp, pathetic, like, hey babe, smell this. Oh, do you see this? And like just so annoying. Not even cute in a golden retriever boyfriend type of way, but someone who's just like, okay, whatever, I will block you if I wasn't trying to get to this dude. And that's how he comes across as like probably the uber nice guy. Mm-hmm. And then you see in a flashback, he is just as he knew what was going on. So it makes you wonder how long was he keeping up that persona, because he knew at the end of the day he was going to get that woman to that island. That's the stuff that's really, really scary. And I think that's why, like, I'm saying, like, this is like a really unfortunate but really good horror movie for October, because this is something that women do worry about when they go out with their friends, or if they're out, and they meet some guys who seem really nice, but aren't. And yeah, it's just, yeah. As I said, I don't think I wouldn't call this movie enjoyable, because it's like pretty fucked up.
No, look, I get that. I mean, in the same ways, Get Out is quote unquote enjoyable, right? You know what I mean? You're like, you are faced with this idea of being used as a tool, as a person of color and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's not enjoyable, but yeah, I mean, I totally get that sentiment. And because Mike and I are both not women, this is not, as much as I can empathize on a lot of this, all of these horrible things that happen to these women. It's only surface level, right? Like it just is. It's only as skin deep. But for you, you're like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, I deal with not this direct thing, but the very like far into this type of shit every day, where guys are saying and doing shit, and like that's why when women talk about like, oh, guys say X, Y, Z, to women, and guys are like, I don't believe that. I've never heard guys say that. I'm like, why would you?
Yeah, you do.
But why would you assume that guys talk to women in the same way they talk to other guys? They don't. They don't. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying that's all guys, right? I'm not like, I don't go up to women when I was single, like, hey girl, let me do X, Y, Z. Like, I don't say like dirty, weird shit, but some guys do. Like, we've seen video where women secretly videotape, conversation stuff. We see and hear the shit that guys say. It's fucking outlandish, right? Mm-hmm. And they think that shit works. I guess for some of them it does, which is wild.
No, but they can be just as charming as Channing Tatum's character was. Oh, like your nails. Oh, or even like little things like, are you okay? Are you having a good time? Let's take a walk.
Yeah, that
like just like
big
these little nuances that show that you care, that you are thinking of someone, that you're centering someone. And it's the way that we all would like, especially women, we all want, some, handsome, fine, rich dude to think that way about us or whatever. But then again, it's just, and I hate to say this because it's like, I know it's like hashtag not all men, but this is the kind of thing where it's like, you really have to try to vet these men as close as you can, because they can all be like this and this, and then just be completely different people once you get close enough to them.
And this is the thing that makes these people, especially Slater, really despicable. Really despicable. You're naturally charming. You're being nice to this woman. She wants to be with you. Mm-hmm. It's obvious. Yet you still feel the need to do this?
That's a super weird. That's a super weird.
Like it's not like you're Elon Musk and you're built like your torso is built like the Cybertruck, right? Like it's not like you're a weird guy, right? Like
why
you look like Channing Tatum.
He's very rich. Elon's very rich.
No, he you know when you have like the can of biscuits and you pop them open with the spoon. That's what it looks like.
That ain't right. It's true.
But it's true. I don't regret what I said. Okay.
That's pretty funny, yo.
It feels accurate. It does feel accurate.
I really do appreciate a good visual metaphor, and that was fucking out of the park. You nailed it.
Oh shit!
Jesus Christ!
That's ugly.
He is a like just a physically. Well, I would argue inside and out, but he is a very ugly person. Like he just is.
Yes,
he just is. He had to have $150 billion. Like, how else was it going to happen? Like, charm, wit, no.
Artificial insemination.
Even still, gross. I feel sorry for the turkey baster. Have my babies. I'd rather not. Thanks. So then we see they're all at dinner. Lucas, the youngest guy, he's there and he's explaining how he's so excited to be hanging out and everything else. And, he's fucking naive young kid. Then we have Christian Slater. He's there and he's like, hey, I have an offering for dessert, psilocybin and MDMA. And they're all like, yeah, let's do some drugs, which is cool, I guess. And so they do. They do a whole lot of drugs. And look, I don't advocate for doing heavy drugs with strangers. That feels like a bad idea. I certainly don't advocate doing that on an island because of the implication. Like, don't do that. But I guess she thought because she was there with her buddy, right? You're doing your buddy thing. Jess is there, so you guys are both doing drugs. You're looking out for each other. Nah, I'm good.
Is this a good representation of the thought process? Because like the first thing that we all do, not we all do, but the first thing that some people
all doing psilocybin. Go ahead.
The first thing that some people do when stuff like this is found out about is that they blame the victim, and it's like, well, why'd you do this, and why'd you do that, and why'd you do this? Is this a good representation of how things can just kind of be a slippery slope, and you're just kind of doing it and not really thinking about it, and just like, is this, and in your experience, Tia, well, not your experience, but I assume you are a little more in tune with this than I'll ever be.
Yeah, I mean, I can go back to the thing I was talking about earlier with going to Vegas and stuff like that. There is this feeling that at the end of the day you will be safe, even if you know that you're in really seedy environments because you're with your friend. Like you don't. Oh wait, hold on. Alexa started talking. Like there's this feeling that like what?
It's a professional show. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like when you're with a friend, you think that you have each other's backs because you do, but it also makes it so much easier to make not great decisions when it comes to drinking and hanging out with people you don't know, and then also depending on what the occasion is, and especially if you're there to have fun, it's easy to believe that everyone else is also there just to have fun, and then there's no one else who's there, even though you know that there are people out there who are going to try to harm you, take advantage of you. You don't really think about it in the moment where you're meeting a group of folks with your friend, and they're like, "Yeah, we're having a good time. You want to have a good time." You just think that everyone is just there to have fun. So yeah, this is how it can happen. I think the other thing is that if something does happen and you have to explain how the night went, we know people aren't always empathetic because they'll say exactly, we just said, Michael, like, well, why did you drink? Why did you take a drink from a guy you barely knew? Why did you do tequila shots with a bunch of folks you didn't know? Like, even if with your friend, why didn't you look out for your friend? Your friend was getting too drunk, so why did you get too drunk? I will also say this is that, like, in with me and my friend, when we went out, her and I, we drank a lot. But even then, because I was the older one, there was a part of me that realized I could not be more drunk than she was. Even though I was still drunk, it makes no sense. But I could not be more drunk than she was. But I know. But that's just like, because again, we're just trying to have fun. No one is out here trying to get assaulted or anything like that. But it feels so, it can feel very naive, but that's just how it shakes out sometimes.
Yeah, no, I have to imagine, I mean, Mikey, you don't drink, you're lame. But, people who have fun, when you do, TR, you're absolutely right. Like, there are plenty of times, I mean, I don't have to think about, sort of that aspect, right? That you're talking about. But there is that whole point of, you have one drink, everybody, having a good time, vibing, I believe is the term young people are using now. And it can just kind of snowball, right? And and TR's right, that exact point of, you forget that not everybody there is to have fun. And I have actually been at parties, and this will be probably the absolute closest to getting to TR's point that I can get to personally, which is, I have been around dudes who are like, clearly they are eyeing some woman getting drunk, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna like try to make something happen. I've been around that type of shit, and that's a fucked up situation, because you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and I've had to say this, like, just leave her alone. Like, because you don't, even when you're drunk as a dude, even if you weren't like, yeah, I'm going to not drink and I'm just going to go after that woman. You can get in that mindset if you're a scummy dude when you're drinking, like, oh, I'm going to try to hook up with that girl. It's like, dude, that girl can barely stand. Like, this is a bad idea, right? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you have to then step in and be like, yo, relax. Like, this is not a good idea. But there are plenty of times guys don't do that. Right. And, and sometimes they go home, they sleep together or whatever, and it's fine between the two of them. And sometimes that shit happens and it's not fun. So you at least have to be a person that goes, hey man, like, that's not a good idea. Don't fucking do that. And then, some guys are like, and you're so drunk, they either like have another drink, they sit down and they never get up from their seat. And they don't fucking remember, right? Right. But then some guys will push back and shit like that. Like, that's a hard situation, right? And it is. It can be very difficult, because you don't want to come off like the societal thing for guys is like, you don't want to come off as like not wanting to have a good time type of shit. Like, you don't want to fuck up the vibe. Like, there's a lot of that, but there's also the like, what kind of person are you truly? Like, there's a lot of peer pressure and drinking and shit like that. That for people who've never drank or never been in those situations, like firsthand, it's hard to imagine like explaining to people. And I'm sure Micah's thought is, what the fuck is wrong with all of you? Right. Which is a valid thought process, to be honest. And Micah, I know you know this movie. I don't know if Tiara has seen this, but you remember the movie Promising Young Woman? You remember that? The woman who pretended to get drunk at clubs and shit, and then guys would like try to take her home. And then when they got her home, she'd be like, yeah, I'm actually not drunk. And then like call them out for them trying to like sleep with her and all this other shit. It's a good movie. Wow. Yeah, it came out in 2020. It's very good.
I'll also add to that is that like as a woman, when I'm hanging out with my girlfriends and we've been in situations where we're drunk, we always keep an eye out for each other when someone is getting pulled away by another guy, even if it's a guy that we've recently become quick friends with in a quick friend group while we're out, because we don't know what can happen. And this is honestly at the risk of being called like the not, I guess, the not fun friend or whatever. Like, so I've been in both sides of it, but I've had situations where, a guy would try to pull my friend like, oh, let's just, why don't we just go somewhere, whatever. And I'd be like, no, she's staying with me. Like, or something like, oh, we actually got to go. Our Uber's about to be here. And they're like, oh, no, it's okay. No, I got her. Like, nope, I can take her home. Nope. I got her. I'm the one who wants to talk to her parents in the morning, even though we're both like adults. But still, it's just like, it's trying to keep them safe, but you'll see the lengths that some men will do to try to get, like you said, Jay, like the one they've been had an eye on alone, but also how their friends won't do anything. How their friends will be like, oh no, it's fine. He just about to go and hook up with some girl. Like even the friend, you can't even count on their friends to really step in because their friends are likely trying to do the same thing.
Well, men are taught that's how, like quite literally, men are taught from a very young age, like in the dating age, is divide and conquer. That's how you that's how you win. AKA you sleep with women, right? There's a group of y'all, like you send in all your wingmen to break the group up, and then you try to go for the girl. Like that's quite literally how guys operate. And I'm not even saying like when it's an innocent perspective where you're like trying to talk to your friend, you get the fuck out of here, like trying to get her number. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm totally fine with that. But when it comes to like alcohol and drugs and shit like that, that's where it becomes a very different conversation, right? It's very, very different. But guys are literally taught that. And if you're a guy and you're like, I never did that, you're full of shit. Every guy is taught this. Like, it just is what it is. But again, when you're talking about with drugs and alcohol, that's a different conversation. But every guy is taught, like, that's why wingman, that's why the whole term.
Yeah, that's why they're called wingmen. Right.
Distract the friend so I can try to talk to the thing. Like, talk to this girl. Like, Tiara, would you describe it like coming in and be like, no, she coming with me? Men hate you. I'm telling you, 100%. Because you're like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, ain't nobody talking to you. Like, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. You are fucking up my plan. That's what it is. So we are taught from a very young age that that's what we do. The problem is that's fine when it's just trying to get a girl's number at a mall, right? You had Security Square Mall. That's where I used to go. Trying to get numbers, right? There's nothing wrong with that. However, when you're older and you put alcohol and drugs involved, and then your hormones are fucking through the roof, and you make a lot of piss poor decisions and shit like that. And there's also people who are just really scumbags, right? Like, 'cause I don't want to pretend that everyone is just in happenstance to it. Some people very much have a plan of shit they want to do. When you couple all of that sort of conditioning and drugs and alcohol together, and potentially just bad actors, that makes for a recipe for disaster, right? So you do have to understand as a guy why women are like that, right? Like, it sucks if you're just trying to be a genuine. I don't mean this in a quote unquote, but you're genuinely trying to be a nice guy. You just want to talk to this girl. There's nothing wrong with that, and it sucks when that happens. But that's the reason women do it. I mean,
and we can and we can tell who's a creeper. That's another thing. We even when drunk, we can tell who's like, when we're looking out for our friend. Maybe not when it comes to us as like for ourselves, which is
ironic.
Right? But like we can peep when we see someone with a friend, we're like, no, get it. Like,
if the guy's standing in the corner doing this. Like, if he's doing the Birdman hand rub, that nigga's a problem. Like,
licking his lips too much, you're like, no, get away from my friend. If you like her enough, y'all can swap IGs and y'all can DM each other in the morning when you're sober.
I'm so glad I'm out of the dating game. If a woman was like, "Here's my Instagram," I'd be like, "Oh, you're just blowing me off. I got it." Like, I would not take that as serious.
No. And no, getting someone's IG can be serious. Like, that's your personal stuff.
Y'all have
you
fun.
put your location on there. I'm at AMC movies with my friend. Come hang out. It's like, no.
See, that's y'all first problem. Y'all got location services turned on, or y'all telling
remember
crazy.
Remember Foursquare?
Yeah.
Yes.
Foursquare. Everybody wanted to be the mayor of some shit. Oh, so this is where you go every day? Good to know.
You can, by the way, you can share your location on Instagram now. Did y'all know, like, if on your Instagram DMs, you can actually put where you are in that moment. Like, it's a feature that came out maybe a couple months ago. No. But you have to go in and disable it. Otherwise, people can. It's basically like sharing your location. Otherwise, people can see where you are on the map anytime.
I don't talk to anybody over Instagram DMs. But to share,
but what I'm saying is, I think for that feature, you had to go and disable it, or make sure that it wasn't on. Otherwise, people could see, like, where they are, which is clearly at the biblioteca.
Yeah, well, that's where we hang out. This is why my daughter's not getting social media. Like, no thanks. All my friends have it. I don't care. And you can't have a phone either. Like, nah. Get you a flip phone. You call me and your mom. That's it.
Sounds like a character on another movie that we're gonna do. Hopefully.
Look. I'm gonna be that type of dad. I want to get on Facebook. No, it's evil. It's bad.
And what happened to that character, TR? She had it.
Honestly, Mike, it sounds like Jay's gonna be fighting one battle after another on that.
All right. Two of y'all need to fucking roll. I mean, the chances of my daughter actually looking like her is pretty high, to be honest. So, yeah. So from there, we just see there's just series after series of drunken partying, right? And then Jess is like, I don't know, man, feeling a little weird, right? Because she got bit by a snake, right? On the island. The snake bit her, and so suddenly Jess is like, I'm feeling a little weird. Like, you don't think something's like weird's going on? Type of shit. And she's like, I kind of want to go. And Frida is like, yo, I'm having the time of my life. Like, don't fuck this up for me. Like, please. Like, I'm 2 feet away from getting Slater Kinged. Okay, like, just knock it off. And so she's like, all right, we gotta stay. Come on. And Jess is bowing to peer pressure from her friend. Like, she's trying to help her friend. She's trying to be a good wingman, but
nah, this was, and this is what I appreciate about this movie is that Frida is being a bad friend at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, she is.
Like, and but you still, feel for, like, Frida is a real person.
Right.
Because, like, you feel sorry for her towards the end, but she's being a bad friend here, and depending on your feelings about the ending, that can lean you one way or the other in terms of Frida. But that's what I like about this character is that she is like she feels real. Like, the decisions that she makes. Yeah, I could see a real person making these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
So we see Frida, the next day, her and Jess go to sleep. Next day, Frida gets up. She goes into this house. She sees all these red gift bags everywhere. These are the same gift bags that Stace was holding earlier. And so she goes into this hut and sees all of this, and she sees that woman, the housekeeper who kept calling her Red Rabbit. She sees her, and the woman's like, "You want a drink?" Like, and she gives her this drink, and she starts like choking and coughing, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's horrible! It tastes so strong, Jesus Christ!" She's like, "What is it?" And the woman is like, takes a blanket. And she's like, this is what it is. And it's snake venom. And so she starts freaking out and she runs out. Look, I will eat and drink many strange things. I don't mind. I like food and all sorts of, interesting things. I think I'd be pretty pissed if somebody gave me snake venom. I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be pleased about that.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, one thing. There was a scene where when they're all like, clearly all high, whatever, and the women are like, looks like they're chasing each other. Mm-hmm. You don't know what's going on in that moment, but it sounds so creepy. And now it's just hit me that, like, when they probably thought they were all like playing like a fun game of hide and seek, and that is not what was happening. They were running.
Yeah, they were running for their lives. And then they just stop, and it was like, wait, why are we running?
And just start laughing.
Yeah.
And so then they wake up the next day, and everybody is like kind of tired and a little like kind of worn out and everything else. And, the guys are all kind of laughing, and they seem relatively fine. All the women are just kind of worn out. And they're like, oh, what happened to your eye? Lucas, the young guy, and he's got this huge fucking shiner. He's like, I don't know, I have no idea. He's like, I don't know, but it's spectacular, right? And so all the guys are like, hey, we're gonna go fishing, and all the women are like, yeah, I got a bit of a hangover. I'm gonna stay back, and they're like, why don't would you mind if we all just had like a ladies' day by ourselves and you guys go fishing, whatever? And they're like, all right, cool, like no problem. And so at this point, Sarah is like, hey, she takes the lighter out that Jess had, right? It was Jess's lighter, and they had been borrowing it back and forth throughout the movie because they were all smoking weed, of course. And at one point, she's like, oh yeah, that's Jess's lighter, and all the women are like, who's Jess? And they all simultaneously like turn to Frida and like, who are you talking about? She's like, my best friend that's been here the whole time. And they're like, are you joking? Like, who the fuck are you talking about? And they're all like, yeah, you don't look so good. Like, the fuck's going on with you? And it feels like a very like Stepford Wives kind of moment where you think, oh shit, are they all in on it? And Frida is the only one like kind of all by herself in all of this. But that is clearly not the case later on. Frida runs off. She runs into Stace, and Stace is like, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know Jess. And they open Jess's room, and it's just a storage room. Like there's none of her shit's there. They just have just a bunch of shit thrown in there. And so she starts to think like maybe she's hallucinating, and she's like, like losing her mind type of shit. And then she hits the mirror in the bathroom, and the knife that is Cody's falls from behind it, right? Because Jess hid the knife, right? It was like, in case shit. And when Frida sees that, she realizes like, okay, like something's up. Sarah comes
get a quick flashback of like Jess with the knife saying, hide this, right? Like you get flashes of Frida's memory coming back.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, this whole sequence is very smartly done because this is where you start to unravel the mystery, and they do a really good job with that. And then Sarah comes to Frida's room, and she's like, "Hey, you're talking about your friend Jess," and she shows her the lighter, and Jess's name is on it. And she's like, "All right, like, the fuck is going on? Like, I think I would have remembered a whole ass person being here."
This was after she had the snake venom, right?
Yeah. So the snake venom is what is kind of waking her up from being drugged. And then Frida shows Sarah how she has like a bruise on her arm, or like Sarah shows Frida that she has a bruise on her arm. She doesn't know where the fuck it came from. And she's like, I think I would remember. I was on Hot Survivor Babes. Like, so like she's like kind of a tough chick. And so she's like, yeah, I think I would fucking remember that. And
she's like, I don't fall out of trees. Yeah. I was a winner.
Yeah. I don't fall out of trees. It's a wild statement. So then Sarah is convinced by Frida to drink the snake venom. And she's like, look, like, try this and, see what you think type of shit. And then she drinks it, and all of her fucking memories start flooding back. And she starts remembering, like, the fuck is going on. Like, she remembers Jess and all this other shit. And so they start giving all the women snake venom margaritas to get them to drink it. And, they're all like, yeah, it's great. And so they just start drinking and drinking and drinking. And so then they all start kind of remembering shit. And then they give it to Stace. She remembers as well. Like, she starts to their memories kind of come back. Their memories fully come back when their like nose starts bleeding, I guess. That's the indication of like all the shit is out of their system. And once that happens, they all start like they start fucking flipping out. And they're standing there, and at one point Sarah is like fully remembering, I guess, a lot of shit. And Cody comes up behind her and she elbows that guy right in the nose, which, I mean, good. I think she broke his nose. And then everybody starts kind of like fucking figuring the shit out. And all the women are like pretending they don't know.
So the first two women, Frida and Sarah, they are, they're out of it for like, they're being unfogged basically. And they're like 80% out of it. And they start like, okay, we convinced the other girls to take the shots, but, it's going to take a while, and let's go make a plan. Let's go get our phones. And the guys are coming back. So Frida goes out to look for the phones while Sarah is there, trying to distract all the dudes who just came back from fishing. And meanwhile, I think Frida says something, or Sarah says something like, I mean, these women are a ticking time bomb, right? Like,
yeah.
So you got a running clock of, in the background, right? Of like, oh shit, like they're going to come out of it, but the audience doesn't know when. Meanwhile, these guys are coming, and this section of the movie, this like starts the second half of the movie, and the second half is really tension filled, right? Like it does a really, really good job of making you of creeping you out, freaking you out, not creeping you out, but like freaking you out, because there's a lot of combustible elements here, right? The audience is smart enough to know, hey, these dudes are not on the up and up. They're probably like assaulting these women. And when Sarah says, hey, there's a ticking time bomb. Hey, Slater's going to look for Frida. Sarah's over here screaming about big blunts because that was the code word and shit. Fat ass blunt, some shit. Like it does a really, really good job of like very quickly ratcheting up tension.
You know what it is? It's like as the audience, we're watching, it feels like Groundhog Day over and over, right? But the characters, the women don't know that they're living like this Groundhog Day scenario. But now we see two of the women who are now seeing what we see, which adds that tension. And now it's like they have to pretend to still be in on it. Like, so now they have to be like, okay, I'm gonna smoke a little bit here, and you're wondering, like, this is what I was thinking today. I was like, no, Sarah's like about to like smoke that fat ass blunt, and I did not want her to be in any kind of altered state while understanding that she is in danger, like, and that she's been in danger this whole time.
Right. Because that's something else that, to my understanding, like if a woman is if one of these dudes gets a woman drunk or some shit and then starts to rape them, like sometimes women come out of it and fucking like, what do you do, right? Like, do you have to sit there and like it depends on the person, I guess, but like it's scary, man. It's scary. Like I can't imagine.
Right. Do you respond and end up being
killed?
Do you
respond immediately? Do you pretend and or do you sit there and go along with it because like, well, the alternative could be even worse. Right. Like it's horrifying, man.
And because clearly once you remember, in the case of sadly Jess, whose body will probably never be found ever, she remembered, and they killed her on the spot. So and at the same time, it's like, and that's the thing that adds to the tension, is that you see Sarah and Frida beginning to work together, and they are smart enough to know they have to continue to pretend, but there's no guarantee that the other two women will keep up that facade. Which, if they end up breaking out of it, then Frida and Sarah are also out of it too. And the other thing is that they gave shots to Stace. They gave some to Stace too. And Stace is also seemingly, okay and everything. But she's a ticking time bomb too. But you just don't know that Stace is like, yeah, I know what's going on, and I am totally okay with what's happening. Well, maybe not totally okay, but okay enough to let that shit continue. And the whole time you're wondering what does and what like because these men are so cunning and are so monstrous that you're wondering what Channing Tatum notices. When does he notice that Frida's behavior changes? When did Cody notice? When do any of them? When does it stop just being like, oh, it's all jokes because we can joke about it because we're really nice guys, versus like, holy fuck, these women are awake and they know exactly what we're doing to them.
I think Slater notices it well before the other dudes. I think the other dudes are just like dudes. They don't get shit until it's hitting them, until it's mounted and pounding them in the face with the top of a toilet bowl or a slab of granite or some shit, right? Like, I think they don't get it until they get it, right? But Slater,
like,
I think,
is came out of nowhere. Why are you so mad? Like, whoa, like, right. Where's this anger coming from?
What's your problem? Like, okay. Yeah, I mean, I appreciated the moment that Frida fully remembers, right? Because this stuff comes in layers, right? They start to realize like something's off and everything else. And then when their nose bleeds, they fully remember everything. And she remembers that as she's under the desk, hiding from Slater, is when she has like the full fucking, all the memories of them being held down, Jess being killed, all of that shit. That's when she actually remembers all of that. And so here she is trying not to have this breakdown while she's trying to hide as well. She runs off and sees everybody there, and then she sees the guys, and they're all, Sarah and Frida are like trying to pretend, and they're laughing, but they're crying, like, but they're trying to be like, everything's great. Like, oh, I can't wait to hang out with all the guys again. Like, fucking hell. Like, what are we going to do? And meanwhile, they're like stopping to take pictures and shit. And like, that tension is very real. And you're right. Like, combining that with, the guys coming up and they don't know that these women are sobering up. Slater is like hugging on Frida and everything else. And for her, she's literally being hugged on by her rapist. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are doing horrendous shit to them, and she's got to play nice and everything else. And I got to tell you, this movie, and I got it when I first heard it, but like, for guys who don't understand, and I don't think it's a lot of guys, but I do think it's enough that it's disturbing to me. Do you remember a couple months ago when it was like, would women choose the bear or a guy thing, right? Mm-hmm. That scenario. And women were like, yeah, I'll choose the bear. And guys were like, women are idiots, bro. It's like, I have a hard time understanding how you don't understand this. Like, right. The point here is that even these guys, who may have seemed like a bunch of rich douchebags, but they didn't seem like they would necessarily be capable of these things that they're doing, are capable of these things, right?
Yeah.
And even though they take you to amazing dinners and pay for, all this stuff, and like, more than a $28 dinner, let's say, there's a callback. And even though they're spending all this money on them and treating them with like, so high class, they are capable of real scumbag behavior. And it's like, to Tiara's point earlier, like, you have to vet these people to such an insane degree. Like, the fact that women find men to date and marry is actually remarkable, to be honest. Like, it really is remarkable. And it's not because most guys are scumbag pieces of shit. It's that I am shocked that, like, at a certain point, women are just like, you know what? I don't trust it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah. The other thing, the use of the Polaroid and the camera is so dehumanizing. It's such a dehumanizing tool that's used to catch these women in their most vulnerable moments. Everyone in their most vulnerable moments, right? Because like at first, it's used to be like, hey, picture, like when like because obviously they're not using their phones, but it's like capturing what you would think are these really fun moments, like once a lifetime straight partying for days, but then you realize that they were definitely likely taking photos of them while they were raping those women. Yeah. To further add to their humiliation.
Yeah, and also like you get that scene in the hut with all of the red bags and what have you, and you realize that they have been giving out this drug to other rich men and just sending them on their way. They're not all doing this shit on the island. They're doing all the scumbag shit in their personal lives. Yep. Which is really telling in and of itself. You know what I mean? Like,
who are the men who are like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, and then or worse, who are some of the men who are offered this and say no, but don't say anything about
That's a very good question.
Not my business. What?
Hey, do you want to mind rape your wives and girlfriends or random women? No, I'm good. You gonna go to?
She's like my best friend.
Like, nah, I'm not gonna go to the police. That's crazy. But as much as I think that is very much a guy thing, I think that's a very people thing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, most people are real. Don't want to rock the boat, mediocre, stay in their lane type of shit. Even in the face of horrendous shit. Like they are. They just are. I mean, they are. So, I mean, guys do it, but I unfortunately, I do not think it is just dudes. But yes, in this movie, they certainly are making that point. And so all the women now are kind of like, they're all awake and they're all sitting here having this dinner.
So the other two aren't fully awake yet, but
they get to right at this dinner. They do. Yeah.
We get to the dinner scene, and at the dinner scene, Frida she's woke, right? And we get the what really happened at the previous dinner scene. And it comes out of nowhere and it hits you right like in the fucking face, right? Like I don't even want to describe it, but there's some heinous shit going on.
Yeah.
People are tied up, people are being chased. The young guy getting it looks like the young guy is trying to stop, but Slater is holding him back, maybe?
No, I did not read it like that. I read it as Slater was like, why aren't you doing anything?
Yeah, that's how I saw it, because I wrote it down too. That with the character's name, I think it's Lucas.
It's Lucas, yeah.
That he was the only one in that scene that wasn't doing anything. Like in terms of like he wasn't participating in it. And when you have that plus him not remembering what happened to his eye, it made me wonder, was he also being drugged too?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he was being drugged, but I'm at 1 hour, 7 minutes and 4 seconds. Slater is saying, stop it. And the other guy is saying, this is so fucked up, man.
Oh, and you know what? You're right. He looks like he's trying to stop what's going on to the other woman. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Or at least like walk over there and like, hey, what are you doing? Right.
Right.
And I think that's how he got his black eye. Right. Slater was just like, bam, shut the fuck up. Right.
Right.
And yeah, because Slater's like, you got to grow up, man. And the other guy's like, no, I can't. Like, please, like, what are we doing? And then we pan over to, I can't remember what this woman, the one not to be fucked with.
The
What is her
Dominican
name?
The Dominican woman from Dykeman.
Yeah, she is not. She is not. She's tied up on a stake, and it is. And then we cut back to Frida, and she's laying down, crying, gagged, and Rich and Slater are standing over him, and Rich is like, so she's not going to remember any of this. And it's wild, man. Like it is wild. Like you don't see stuff like this in American cinema.
No, you don't.
Yeah, and what does Slater says, like, oh, the worse it is, the more they forget.
Yeah.
So it just makes you wonder, like, to what and I think this is where, up to the viewer, you can only imagine, like, the horrors they put these women through. For him to come to that conclusion, like, the worse it is for them, the more they forget. They have done some horrific stuff to those women.
Yeah. This scene is very, very, very good, and also extremely fucked up, because this balance between absolute depravity and this like fun dinner where everyone is like drinking a little too much or a little too high, but everybody is like smiling and laughing, and it's weird because the women are some level of animated and everything else. And some of the guys are joining in on it. But if you watch like Haley Joel Osment's character, when Carmilla is talking, he's just staring at her, right? Like, just
like
he's
waiting.
Food. Yeah, just like, I can't wait for you to fucking, like, we get done with this and I'm going to do all sorts of horrible shit to you. Because that's the type of person I am. Right? He just doesn't, he is just seeing her as something to attack, something to conquer. And meanwhile, Sarah and Frida are doing their fucking level best to pretend to be like happy and sunny about everything. Meanwhile, they know exactly what is coming, right? And what these guys are going to try to do. And so then they put on some music and they start dancing, so they can.
Oh, real quick. This is where Sarah is, talking to the audience, and she's like, hey, women have been taught to compete against each other, and we really should be helping each other, supporting each other. Like, she can't, she's talking to the audience, but she's also like coming to this realization, like she's reaching the end of her arc, right? And it's. She said, because it's scary, right? It's scary out there. So you gotta come together, right? Like, y'all gotta be on a team. And it's, and that makes me sad, that women gotta feel like they have to look out for each other, because one, men won't look out for them, or two, will take advantage. And, yeah, I don't know, man. It just, and like, social media doesn't help. You know what I mean? All this men versus women stuff online is,
gross.
It's detrimental to society, and I really hate when Black people do it. I really hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me sick, man, because we got enough bullshit that we got to deal with, that we can't be turning on our own. We can't be, because you don't want to get called a simp or whatever. Like, nah, man. Like, fuck that, bro. it just doesn't.
It's very weird to me.
I was gonna say, like, so also in that scene, and this is something that Slater does, when he looks, he's like, you're right. Women, like he says something affirming to what Sarah was saying. And I'm gonna tell you this, because y'all are married, and so y'all are not out here in these single streets, but something that is noticeable is when you have men who weaponize very liberal or feminist way of speaking. And you would think that, like, okay, if you meet someone who's like, yeah, I believe all women should band together, and I'm a male feminist, and
I hate when men say that shit. Like, don't label yourself. Like, just act the way you're supposed to act.
Also, you don't have to call yourself a male feminist. Just say you're a feminist. Like, that's
right, but it's like but it doesn't feel genuine. It feels so manipulative.
It's performative.
And the way that in performative, yes, but manipulative specifically, because they write on their profiles because it's like they're using all these catchphrases that would attract a woman and think that they're deeper than they are, and you realize that no, they're predatory asshole too. It happens all the time.
I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
I mean, but it's what we said earlier. Like, sometimes you're surprised about how some of these men find partners. Look, when I'm on Reddit, that's what I think. I'm like, how are y'all meeting these terrible ass people?
Where are they? Yeah, where are they?
Like, how are y'all ending up with these How are y'all ending up with these marriages with these terrible ass people? But
look,
yeah.
No, it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard out there now, because I do feel like there has been a huge shift since COVID when it comes to like how men and women talk to each other, especially like online personalities. But it was bad, but it has gotten seemingly exponentially worse since COVID, when people were just in the house by themselves for a long time.
Jay, you said
how to talk to each other.
What did you say Haley Joel Osment's character did? You were saying something about him staring.
He was just staring at Camilla, like when she was talking at the dinner table. Mm-hmm. When he's like, he stops laughing and he's just staring at her in a way that feels awkward. When you look,
it just looks like it just looks like I don't know if you would get it, Tiara, but sometimes like when dudes just like want somebody to shut the fuck up, it's just like, yeah.
Let's just
okay. All right, wrap it up.
I do it at least once a week.
But in this case, he's doing that because he's just ready to take what he gets.
I think he's ready to pounce, right? I think he's ready to pounce, and I think he's ready to like all right, like let's hurry up, right? Like I it's here. I got 4 hours. Let's go.
Yeah. But he just sees them as victims. I mean,
it just seems weird to me. And look, maybe I'm reaching, right? But like, you brought it up and I see it.
Yeah. And look, he's all over her the second they start dancing. He's right there because he can't wait to fucking do whatever dirty shit. By the way, all of these dudes, they got a what's the term you could use? A Bill Cosby-esque way about them, which is they, for some reason, can't get women by talking to them and being reasonable. They have to drug them and do horrible shit to them. It's the only way.
But that's the thing. They could get women without drugging them. They don't want to.
At least one of them could. Yeah. At least one of them could.
Jake doesn't think Haley Joel Osment's character could.
Oh, I don't think he could. But yeah, that is what makes it that much more sinister. Is like you're just doing, and Bill Cosby could have. Like, you're fucking rich as fuck. Like, everybody knows you, but it's a power play. Like, it's a power thing. It's to do it just to do it, to see who you can control and who you can't, and more importantly, who you can control, and just to see if you can get away with it. I don't like rich people, guys. Like, I mean, I don't know if that comes across in this movie, but like, you probably shouldn't trust billionaires, like, at all, and maybe not a lot of dudes either. I did appreciate when Camilla gets her memory back. She's standing there pouring some water in a glass, and she just fucking freezes, and she just keeps pouring, and her change is like from horror to, and you just see it on her face, horror to, I am going to kill these motherfuckers in like 3 seconds. It's great, sort of a physical work close up.
The movie telegraphs it very briefly at the dinner table when she's having that speech, and she's just like, I don't have too many girlfriends, and I'm a ride or die, and if you guys are my friends, and if anybody fucks with my friends, I'm gonna fuck them up. And then it's just like, oh shit. Yeah. Like, I can't wait. Yeah, and then like you said, when that piece of that little bit of nonverbal communication from horrified to vengeful is amazing.
Yeah, she was in that show Dope Fiend. If people watch that on Apple TV, if you've not, one, I highly recommend it anyway. But she's very good in that too. She's not to be fucked with in this moment. And yeah, so she just walks up and she's got like, she hits Haley Joel Osment with a fucking ice pick, I think it is, to the neck, as you do.
Amazing.
No, loved it. And then he fucking straight up died, which was awesome. And then she proceeded to stab him multiple times with it until she's shot. Or no, I'm sorry, Slater King comes and like knocks her off of him. And then she fucking bites him. And then shit goes left. And everybody is like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And then you see the other woman, I forget her name. She wakes up and she immediately starts chasing Heather, yeah. And she starts chasing Christian Slater's character. She's like, no, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then Sarah's already fucking mentally aware. And she goes to kill Cody. And she stabs him through the hand with a corkscrew for like wine, which she didn't kill him, but that had to fucking hurt. And then Heather hit the one dude, Christian Slater, in the head with a chessboard, and it looks like it's like a heavy
like marble.
Yeah. And she hit that dude in the face and like knocked half his goddamn teeth out. Fucked his jaw.
Incredible. Yep.
And then Sarah fucking roundhouse kicked that dude into the pool, which, shout out to her. It was super hot. And then Heather proceeded to beat the brakes off of Christian Slater again multiple times in the head with that chessboard. And then security shot her and killed her. And so Frida was like, oh shit, this is my chance. And she ran off. And the security guard chases after her. He is running. They're both running in a manner that Denzel Washington would be proud in his last movie. And she eventually kind of gets away from the security guard, but then he finds her and, drags her back to the house. But right before he's about to shoot her in the head, Sarah comes with a rock and fucking hits him in the head, and then drops the big rock smashes it on his head, killing him. So
love it.
Yeah. Now look, this is the part where I'm like, sisters are doing it for themselves. Like this is my favorite part of the movie. Good. Fuck that guy,
but
too.
It's also so sad, man. Like, this is like, and this is like watching this, because you so badly want all these women to get to leave this island alive. And the reality is that, and just like in real life, they don't. Like two, like and for two of the women or three of the women to die so shortly after remembering what happened to them, it's just so fucked up, man.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, can you imagine living with that kind of trauma? Oof.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I think maybe a slightly point of the movie. It's like, is forgetting a gift? Right? Like, it seems like it would be, but at the same time, like in this situation, it absolutely isn't.
Right? I mean, actually,
not remember this shit, but they have to.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think. You know, I firmly believe in the mantra of forgive but don't forget. Yeah. If you're willing to forgive, that's fine, but don't ever forget. Because if people forget, they'll do it again, and they'll do it again. Just like America has forgotten about history, and now like we're in the situation we're in. And
8 years ago.
Right. So yeah, no, it's wild, man. It just is. Look, this part of the movie is fun. It's cathartic, but like we don't stay here long, and you know it's back to message time, right? Like at one point, Frida finds Stace, and she's like, "Hey, like." I helped you. Let's go. And Stace is like, nah, fuck you, yo. Like, I wanted to forget because forgetting was a gift. And they fight, and Frida stabs her, and Stace is like, help me. And Frida's like, bitch, I tried. Yeah, you made your choice.
Not all, not all your skin folk are your kinfolk. You know what I mean? Like that's the same thing. Is there are women who do not want progress. There are women who will hold other women back in these kind of situations. Oh, girl, like, don't worry about it. That's why, it's like The Handmaid's Tale. There are women holding down other women while they're being raped by men. Like, there's a point in doing it. It's like.
But what? I think a lot of that is because they don't think they're strong enough to go against, in this case, patriarchy or men with power. And I would bet for Stace probably when she saw what was probably happening, she was probably it wouldn't doubt me if she was horrified and probably wished there was something that she could have done something. But she made the choice to say like maybe she was faced with the choice of what does me saying anything do? Because what did she say? She was like, they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. That's what she told Frida. And in that moment, she was like, I would bet she made the decision long ago to be like, look, it is what it is. It's fucked up. I can't do anything about it. And I know I get all this proximity to power and everything. And also it's not, bet you it wasn't happening to her. So what did she care?
Well, she probably cared, but not enough to do something, right? Like she represents most of the apathetic public who are like, I mean, yeah, this is wrong, but like, what am I gonna do? Like I understand that character. Like I was watching some reviews and some people would like completely wrote that character off without like delving into what that character is and what they represent. Like, yeah, she was in on it, but and yeah, she's a monster for it, but she might not have been like she wasn't scouting. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get it that she was scouting. No. And stuff like that, right? Like she's not Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever her name is.
Yeah, no, I thought she was just representative, like I said earlier, of just internalized misogyny. I don't know that she didn't care as much as like kind of powerful men get to do what they want to do. And so she works for a powerful man, so that it is what it is. So I guess maybe it's I don't care, but I feel like she's just enabling this powerful man because she thinks he's so brilliant, maybe, or what have you, that like he's going to have his indulgences, right? Like they just do that, right? Like there is that notion of like, well, they're a genius or whatever, so you just have to let them do these like depraved things. You know? I mean,
she probably just felt powerless. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what said she had a choice, and she chose to make the decision to stand with people who were powerful but clearly very evil. And but yet when confronted with that decision through Frida, and quite literally like the option to join in the fight, like to join in the literal fight when some of these men are already dead, and she still chose to go against women.
Yeah,
like, and that was probably like the easiest time for her to break away, was to be like, look, I've been a part of this shit for far too long. This is fucked up. And yeah, I'm going to pick up a knife too and, and get my revenge for probably all the trauma I've seen. But she literally chose to not do that.
But I mean, I think we see that in so many communities, right? Like in the Black community and stuff like that, where you're like, why aren't you joining up with us? Like we are fighting, we are trying to do this progress. Some Black folks are like, nah, I'm good. Or not just, I'm going to stand on the sidelines, but I'm going to actively try to keep this system in place, because that's what she represents. She doesn't represent a sideline sitter. She is representing a person keeping this system in place, keeping a system in. I mean, the first time you meet her, she's literally holding the bags that they use to send out this drug to the rest of the world, right?
Yeah.
So she is like, in a way, she kind of is like Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Like she kind of is that, in that she is helping to spread this disease out into the world. And it's like, you're supposed to be on the side of the victim because you share the same gender with them. It's like, I share the same gender with them, but I don't share the same worldview as them. And maybe, I mean, how many women have we seen on fucking YouTube clips and shit like that you're asking them, like, should a woman be president, or could a woman be president? They're like, I don't think a woman could be president. And you're like, you're a woman. Like, what the fuck? Or women who say women shouldn't have the right to vote. And it's like, but you're a woman. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it's that sort of internalized, in this case, misogyny or racism or internalized inferiority. It could be any of those things, which makes sense from the perspective of, here she is always so subservient to Slater. I mean, remember the sort of joke, but I don't, I think it actually does matter as I'm thinking about it. She's constantly moving this chair around a room for Slater.
Yep. And
trying to please him in this, what seems like a task for a buffoon. But this is, he refers to it like, this is just like my best friend or whatever. Like that's his, like, his total, like, a person, his confidant and all this other shit. But he treats her with this mundane task. You know what I mean? Like, it's, so I don't think she's a sideline sitter at all. I think she absolutely is a person who represents a real danger in any kind of movement, is the person who looks like the community being oppressed, and they are A-okay continuing that oppression because they benefit from it. Not that a bunch of them, but just them very specifically.
And he wasn't very nice. Here's the thing. He wasn't very nice to her about that chair stuff either. In fact, that was actually one of the moments where we got to see what was under that facade of his, under that sweet, charming facade. He got real nasty when it came to that chair stuff. So it's like, when you have these people like Stace or any other representative of any community that's going against their community, they're not even treated well by the people they align themselves with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. Like, the person I think of, I think she's now engaged or whatever, is she's like a YouTuber. She goes by like Pearl or something like that, like Pearly Things or whatever. She's like a real pick-me type of person in the red pill movement. And she's always like just parroting all of the shitty things that guys say about women. And she got popular because she's a woman who says the same things, right? It's like, yeah, it's obvious. Like, you're the Hodge twins of women, right? You're a fucking sellout too. And it's just you're selling out in her case to this like red pill movement because it gets you some sort of internet clout. The Hodge twins is selling out to white supremacy because they're clowns, right? So it's the same idea, and like for me, that's what she is. It's just like how do I stand at the right hand of power? Like this is great. I don't. Oh, is it hurting these people? I don't give a shit. It's not hurting me, right? To Micah's point, it's not hurting me. So. But I think she's a cautionary tale to any community. Like, just because they look like you or they're from, they're from your class or whatever. Nah, they're class traitors, man. They're race traitors. Like there are. Theo Vaughn, for instance, is a comedian. He's a class traitor, right? He is. He is. Like that's what he is.
TR, what's the female equivalent of a Sambo?
I don't know.
A man.
In fact, actually. In fact, actually, I can't really know what to say, but honestly, blame my Instagram algorithm because I swear to God, I clicked on this man's video one time and now his video just come up. But I just feel like saying in my Dr. Umar voice, coons. I hate all of these coons.
That's what they are.
That's what comes up. Yeah.
That's what she is. She's
Don't be a Stace, guys.
Yeah. Don't be a boomer white lady.
Yeah. Not if you can help it.
Yeah, that too.
Yikes. So from here we see Slater is giving Lucas the business. He's like, look, in my opinion, like you belong in a special place in hell because you did nothing. You chose nothing. You didn't choose to abuse these women with your homeboys. Like, right. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And you didn't stand up for the women either. Like, even though we were abusing them, somehow he would prefer that you take some level of a stand, go down swinging, but like take a stand on something. Which is a wild thing to say from a rapist.
Yeah, bro. Especially because we saw that very quick flash of like, hey, what are we doing? And then Slater was holding him back, bro. So like,
right, you stopping me?
The fuck are you talking about, yo? It's. I know what this character is trying to do, and I don't have any sympathy for that character. I don't have any. I thought what Slater was trying to do, and I don't have any sympathy for Lucas, because see something, say something, bro. But like, fuck you, Slater. Like,
yeah, like you were not helping. You were making things worse for that guy too. Then we see Frida and Sarah walk up to the house where Slater is, and look, they really do it up. These women bloodied in these white dresses with huge white bows on the back. Both of them holding weapons, one a knife, one a gun, and just this like slow motion walk up, which is dope. And look, I love the fact that it's two women of color. I can't pretend that that's not dope. They hear like knocking on the door, and Slater's like, "Don't answer that door." And Lucas goes to run and open the door, and they shoot him in the head immediately.
Damn.
All right. Well, I mean, that nigga's a piece of shit, but he wasn't wrong. And so Frida comes at him with a knife, and of course Slater he blocks it or whatever. He doesn't get stabbed, and so then they start tussling. She gets thrown into a closet, and the closet opens, and it's all like tons of vials of this drug, because that's what they do there. And then you get these flashbacks of her being at the island the very first time, and you see how she gets a scar where she's running, and he grabs the back of her dress and holds her, and then lets her go, and she smacks her head on a rock. And And then you see that she had red rabbits on her nails, which is why that one woman was calling her that. And after she gets hit in the head, Slater flips her over. This is in the flashback. And he's like, hey, are you having a good time? And she says, I'm having a great time. And of course, she's fucking out of it. And so you come to find out, like, she's been there a year prior, right? Like, all that shit happened a year prior. And so, you know, this isn't, not only are they making her forget the shit that's happening on the island now, they made her forget everything that happened last year. So apparently once a year they do these terrible things to these women.
And they don't tell you how long they're on the island either. So like you have no sense of time of how long you know this is, they're doing something to them every night, but you don't know for how long they're in captivity there. Which is also horrifying. But also notice that and I wonder if this was on purpose. Frida's hair. It's very different. Very, very long. And then, but when we meet Frida, her hair is very, very short. I know she doesn't. We're supposed to believe she didn't remember anything, but I wonder if there was a choice to make her hair almost pixie-like, something that is some people would say not very feminine, even though I think women look great with pixie cuts. But also, sometimes cutting your hair can be a way to cope through something traumatic or wanting to get, or actually no, trying to get like your trying to have some sense of control or power, because your hair is something that's very tied to your identity. So making the choice to either to cut it or shave it can be something significant. I don't know if that was an intentional theme, but it was something that I did wonder about.
No,
especially when we see Frida later.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. You know, as the old saying goes, you gotta cut that man out of your hair, right?
Kind of like what Angela Bassett did in Wait and Exhale. Remember how she cut her hair?
Yeah, no, I mean that is a very common thing. It's wild, but it's a common thing. I mean, I've seen dudes with like dreads. When they cut all their dreads off, it's normally a major thing that's happened in their lives. Like, yeah. Or they're going bald and they're just like, all right, shit is just like pulling all my hair out. But yeah, I mean, the hair is more important to people than I think, to women, I think, than men realize. Then I think the best scene that Channing Tatum has in this movie is the "I'm sorry" speech, right? Where he's like, oh, you know, she's laying on the ground. She's like fucking hogtied or whatever. And then he gives this like recount of the like bullshit speech that you heard from him in the beginning when he was talking to the media. And he's like, you know, nobody actually, sorry doesn't mean anything. It's like, it's useless. It's a useless term. And he goes, see, watch, I'm sorry. And then he just starts saying it over and over again. And he starts just like getting more aggressive and yelling and screaming it as he goes on. Even though he's just repeating two words, it's a really good performance because you really believe like just how insincere this piece of shit is. He's like, you know what? Look, I'm mocking you. And this is like, it is literally mocking women and mocking the idea of sexual violence and things like that. It's just mocking it, right? And especially from a celebrity standpoint, where they get in trouble for this shit, and they're just like, they go out there and they read some horse shit that their publicist wrote for them, and it's just like, yeah, I'm sorry or whatever, and it's just like, it's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, he even said in the beginning of the movie, I've said sorry so many times that it's lost all meaning. And the reporter's like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, this is a giant ass red flag. What the fuck are we talking about? Like, who said? But he's saying it in this charming, I'm so fucking aware of the world and my faults now. It's great. It's like, no, that's a really fucked up thing to say. That it has no.
I mean,
because it doesn't.
He could have said some flowery bullshit like, we all have a mountain to climb, and that mountain is always ourselves. And as I get to reflect on my actions, I promise to be the highest version, the highest peak of my own humanity. I am sorry. And it's just like,
that sounds like something Diddy. That sounds like something Diddy said at his fucking ring.
That sounds like something you've been practicing, yo. Like, what the hell? Like, what the
yeah. All right. So when Tiara gets in trouble in a month, just go back to this episode. Like, no, she don't none of that.
But you know the thing, right? Because like when he gets to like, I guess the height of his I'm sorry, and his face is all red, and you see the veins in his neck, he looks like he's about to cry, and it's just like, yeah, that's how easy it is for sociopathic rapists or any terrible person to just fake human emotion like that. Because he could have even cried in his little thing in the beginning, and it still would have all been bullshit.
Yep. And
I think doesn't he invoke his sister in this whole conversation too, saying like, oh, like, I gave you a gift. My sister would have loved this if I could have made her forget or something like that.
Yeah. Well, what you get, what I believe you start to believe is, or the implication is, like they were abused as kids or something. And so because of that, like that's the thing of like wanting to forget, like, cause it fucked his sister up for life or some shit like that. So Sarah was at the door trying to like shoot the lock off. She runs out of bullets. Slater comes out, chases her down, grabs her, ties her up, brings her back to the house. He's like, you think I'm going to kill you? Like, I'm not going to kill you, Frida. Like, he says, you're like my best friend. Again, he doesn't even see her in a romantic thing. She's a toy. She's a toy that he plays with once a year. I'm telling you, man, being a billionaire, you just lose all connection to humanity. Like, I truly believe that. And so then as he's about to kill Sarah right in front of her, slit her throat, he smokes a part of his vape, and then he stops because Frida has put the mind control juice in his vape, and now he's like all docile and shit, and he's like starts coughing and stop trying to kill her. And so he doesn't know.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on here, guy? What? Huh? He does his best Mark Wahlberg impression. What? What's going on? Huh? Lucas? What? Huh?
He slips.
This is where I gotta kind of wave this away. Like,
you do.
The stuff, he took one puff and then the stuff is like immediately working. Like, it's where we've never seen it work that fast before.
Well, the movie's almost over. They got right. We
gotta wrap it up, B. They playing us off.
I guess when you vape it hits your bloodstream faster. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, I guess. I guess if you inhale it through smoke, yeah, it hits the bloodstream faster. But
sure,
whatever. I can hand wave that away because the movie is really good in my opinion. So the house is burning down, and Sarah and Frida are the camera looks like it's on Frida. You see it's tight on Frida and she's pulling someone. You assume she's pulling Sarah. But no, she's pulling Slater out of the burning building. Meanwhile, Vic whose legs don't work as a result of getting his brains bashed in with a marble chessboard. So he is left in the burning house to die. That old lady who was screaming "Red Rabbit" is laughing her ass off. And Sarah looks at Frida and is like, "You sure you know what you're doing?" And Frida's like, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing." And then we cut back to, I guess, however many years later. and we're at another gala, and Slater is still smoking on that vape, and Rich is there, and Rich is like, "Hey, don't forget about that stuff that I'd like to finish our business transaction or whatever, right?" And Slater's like, "What? Huh? What? Huh?" Right? Because he's still under the effects. And it turns out Frida has married Slater and become the CEO of King Industries or whatever it is. King Tech. And this is where some people have a problem with the ending. So I say to you, Tiara, what is your opinion of this ending? Meanwhile, James Brown's Paid the Cost to Be the Boss.
Great choice.
Is playing.
I thought it was a little unorthodox, a little unexpected. I wouldn't have seen Frida making this decision, even though I guess in the beginning she does say, "My mom always said revenge is the best success." I'm very uncomfortable with her marrying her rapist. I will just flat out. I just am. I am. But however, I think in the real world, women who go against powerful men typically don't get a lot of justice, especially Black women. I mean, we're kind of just now starting to see it a little bit. Like Bill Cosby's out now. Harvey Weinstein is going to probably die in prison, but Donald Trump is fucking president again. So, I mean, and Diddy it's very, very, Diddy only got what? 4 years. Okay. Oh, that's long enough. I thought he was only got maybe like 6 months or whatever, but still, like, and even then, like, Cassie's testimony didn't really do much to get him put away for a lot longer than he was sentenced, right? So it's kind of like, I get why she did it. I can see why people wouldn't have liked it, considering that she was a kind of a bad friend to Jess, and Jess ended up getting killed when Jess was trying to warn her what was going on. But at the same time, do you risk outing this man who looks like was trying to rehab his image anyway, and or do you take away the thing that has made him so powerful? You take that power for yourself. Is she like Stace in a way? And that's probably like another question, because how many victims does this man have, that his man and his friends have, and is she protecting him in a way by keeping him alive and rich and maybe not powerful? It looks like she kind of neutered him in a way by being CEO, but he's still alive and living a pretty decent life. And what happens when that vape disappears? How long is he going to keep vaping for? What happens when he remembers? Because right now it seems like he has the perfect opportunity to actually the relief of not having to remember any of the bad shit that he's done. And I don't like that either, because she still has to live with that, even if she has him on a leash at the end of the day. So I don't know. I think, like, from a storytelling perspective, really interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. I think but like, my opinion on the choices for these characters, I'm very conflicted about it.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I was uncomfortable with it. I didn't I understand the need to kind of leave the audience with something like a high to go out on. But there was a different way you could have had a high. You know what I mean? But it's unique. I would not have pictured it, right? I wouldn't have guessed it in a million years, right? But it wasn't. I wasn't. I know people that were like, yeah, like that wasn't me. I felt a little, I felt a little weird about it, but who am I to tell a victim like what I can't imagine a victim of this would do it, right? And it left me with like a little bit of like this character, is like we said earlier, she was a bad friend, and then you feel for her, and it's just a decision that, on the one hand, like I understand, because like, well, if I'm going to go through all this, I want to be paid. I want to never have to work again. Right. Like I want to be taken care of. But at the same time, like I don't want to go back to my old life, even if I've had to go through all this. Right. Because my old life is a bunch of trash. So I get why that character would do it, but I don't know. It makes me feel a little weird about that character.
Mm-hmm. So I totally understand those sentiments, and I actually don't disagree with either one of them. I'm curious as to how you end this in a way that doesn't feel stereotypical, which is she kills Slater King. You kill Slater King. How you both get off the island without spending time in prison would be interesting to figure that one out. But you could just hand wave it away as fucking movies. I feel like maybe there is a thought process, and I'd love to hear from Zoe Kravitz on this, to be honest. I'll give her a call and ask. Obviously, she's a listener of the show.
Of course.
If you're listening.
She's been wanting this episode for so long. Yes. For a year now.
She's been calling. So I would be interested to know if maybe the thought process is not only like the revenge aspect of like, cool, I got his money, like fuck that guy, right? Because money and power and access was how he used, like those are the tools he used to manipulate women and how he was able to do what he was able to do. But also the aspect of she controls the drug. Right? Like, if you kill him, then perhaps some other person gets that drug, right? Whoever owns the company after that, or, has access to the island or what have you, and they start making the drug and it persists around the world like unabated. But if you control it, then you can determine where the company goes, what it does, what it doesn't do. Does this island exist? Because, like, let's say you sell the island and someone figures this out and they start doing it with these snakes or what have you. But if you own the island and you're like, none of this shit is ever happening again, you can stop it, right? So I wonder if that's maybe the thought process. I don't know. I agree. I am very uncomfortable with the idea of you marrying your rapist. That is weird. But I think probably being married to him, like they're not really married, you know what I mean? It's like they're married on paper. It's not like, then they like sleep together and everything is fine. She's using him, and she's using him as a toy as she was being used by him, right? Like direct revenge, right? Like a 1-for-1 kind of revenge. Even forcing him to eat red meat when he doesn't normally at the end, if you caught that, which was funny. Like, I wonder if it's just this idea of using men who use women in the same manipulative sort of gross way. Instead of having the woman be like, I'm rising above this and being different. This is like, no, I'm gonna be kind of a piece of shit to you like you were to us. I mean, obviously not, rape withstanding and stuff, but you know what I mean? Just like doing that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I'm not saying that's like my theory. My guess is the idea is to control and be able to have ultimate control of like these drugs and access. But it is a weird ending. I don't know if I like it or not like it. I think if she had killed him, I think it would have been like, that's fine, but it would have just felt like every other movie.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
like,
where I'm at too.
like you
Okay.
you need something else. Like you kind of need something else. Like the ending of Get Out, they kill everybody, right? Like they
Right.
kill the family. But like it does. That's the one thing thinking about that movie. Like those other people still exist in the world, right? Like they still exist.
Right.
They don't have the technology or whatever, but they still exist. So it's like
Right.
someone else can pick up that technology. Some other doctor can pick up that technology and continue doing it, right? Like I know there was that deleted scene where they changed the ending and people
Right.
hated it. They didn't like the original ending, which was like
with the
he
cop,
goes
right?
to
With
jail.
the cops. Yeah.
Yeah, he ends up
And
in
Get
jail.
Out.
Yeah, and Get
Oh
Out.
yeah. He's in
Yeah,
jail.
he ends up in jail, and his buddy Laurel Howery is like, "Hey man, like, try to get you out." And he's like, "Nah, I stopped it. Like, this is fine. Like, this is the ending." And people hated that ending, and I get it. Like, I kind of don't like that ending either, but it does feel like you're missing a little bit of something by just like killing the character and then like it ends. So I don't know. Maybe she was just trying to come up with something. I don't necessarily know this was the right choice, but it's certainly an interest. Is what I'll give.
Well, I like the theory about controlling the drug. I hadn't thought about that because it's like you said, these other people like Rich still exist, right? It doesn't seem like, and you see Rich's face when he realizes that she remembers. She's like, oh, I like, yeah. It's not just like, oh yeah, I remember how I met you at the gala, and you told me to blink twice, and he can play it off he can play it off as like, oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. He recognizes that, oh, there's someone out there who knows what kind of monster what kind of monster I am and what I've been involved with. And the worst thing is that Slater doesn't remember. Slater doesn't know anything. And Slater's trying to play it off like, yeah, of course we can have that discussion about something that I have no idea what you're talking about. But she knows. And maybe it's the kind of thing where it's like, it's the perfect gray ending. It's not necessarily like you said, you're uncomfortable with it, but it's also like, if there was someone who had to be in that position, it should be her, because she's not a rapist. She's not someone that's willing to well, she did kill people, but in self-defense. But she's not an evil person.
Right.
So, and at the same time, because you kind of have to assume that there are probably going to be some real world consequences to these actions, he can't die. But it's plausible they get married because they did meet at a gala a year ago, or however long this was. So there's some plausibility there, but as always, we know that she is probably the best person to make sure that drug is, I guess, used. I don't even know if used responsibly is the right word, but I think where the discomfort also comes from is like, again, it's not even just that he's her rapist; he's a serial rapist. Because, like I said, who knows how many people that he and his friends have done that to? Is she going to be someone that's going to go out and get justice for those victims? Where's Sarah? Where does Sarah go? What does Sarah think about all of this?
By the way, she is. And there's a moment that you catch a little bit of that, right? Because right after she turns around and says, "Hiya, Rich, like, I remember you." The scene, the moment after that, and they're looking at each other, and she's kind of like, yeah. If you pay attention, they show two security guards walking towards the table, and they're talking, and it says, "I got him." They're going to arrest Rich, right? They're grabbing him. My guess is there's a part of that story of her using that excess to round up all of these guys who did this, because she would have access to information of all the people who took this drug. So using Slater's power and money, going to grab all these dudes. So it's not said so explicitly, but it is more implicit of these guys. It's very
subtle.
Yeah, it's very subtle, but I think that's part of it too. So that also, it lends to the idea of like keeping him alive, because you can work and go after these people in a more open way, right? Because remember, Slater says, "Oh, I'll be in Beijing next week." Well, why is he going to
Mm-hmm.
Beijing? Is that for work, or is she taking him to Beijing because she knows there are people there in Beijing that she wants to go after too? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. In fact, I just watched that scene just now, and it was so funny, right? When the security guards come, and they escort Rich out. You see Slater fumbling one with the steak, and she's like eat your steak or whatever, and but he's also fumbling with the vape. So it makes you it makes you wonder, like, just like how actually gives you insight to how she's keeping him under tight control for him to kind of like, it's almost kind of crack like how he's hitting that vape, honestly.
Yeah.
But also how demure and how docile he is around her, and like, and even in the end where he's like clapping for her, like, wow, yeah, women empowerment. She's the CEO of my company, and that's my wife. She's amazing, and I'm probably going to be the last person that she sends to prison after she's done rounding everyone up, and that'll be the time when I will probably remember all the bad shit I did.
Yeah, I like that idea. So, and there you have it. Any other final words on Blink Twice?
I would say, would I recommend this movie? I probably would. I would just say heavy trigger warning, heavy trigger warning, heavy trigger warning. I thought this was this is Zoe Kravitz's first movie that she directed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this was great. Yeah, very great storytelling, very, very scary, timely, also really interesting considering who her mother used to work for or work alongside. Wonder if he's seen this movie.
Yeah, that's actually.
But yeah. Yeah, really, really, really good flick.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just as a side note, you had mentioned the whole thing about the hair. She has a pixie cut, so I'm sure that's probably not happenstance.
Oh, you know what? I also wrote this down too. Boss Girl Bob, that the Boss Girl hair bob that what's her name is wearing at the end. The sleek. I love that because I feel like that type of bob in particular, very sleek bob, is very like, it's very CEO. The sharp ends means like she is all about the business and is ruthless and taking no prisoners, and which is probably what she's about to do.
All right, there you go. I like it. Micah, last bit of thoughts?
Yeah, you know, it's a really, really good movie. Really looking forward to seeing what else she does from a directorial standpoint.
Okay. Yo, she was dating Channing Tatum while they were making this movie. That's wild. That's
Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah.
Weren't they engaged? I think they were engaged and then they broke up.
Yeah, they're broken up now, probably after this movie. She was like, "You playing this character a little too good. You gotta get out." Like, this is a little too familiar. Yeah, man, I think it's an impressive movie. The one thing I would say is check out Promising Young Woman as sort of a complimentary film to that. That's very good, but it has a lot of similar feel if you're in the mood for like feminist revenge sort of flick, but also like thought provoking, because it is. And that movie is like, Micah, you remember the ending of that movie? What's revealed in that film? It's a bit of a rough ride, but it's.
I think I'm gonna have to like do a palate cleanser and go watch like K-pop Demon Hunters or something.
Yeah, no, that feels fair. That feels fair. Yeah, that feels. Yeah, so that's it for us. We will be back next week with a preview episode for episode 289. Later, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of Black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the Black community.